What is up, y'all? Eric Cline. I'm here to show you 3 massive things that have helped me in the virtual sales game. Now, do I know a thing or two about the virtual world? Yes. At 28 years old, I got into my very first call center. I'm 43 years old today. I've been living in these call centers, the virtual world, for 15 years, ripping the phones and ripping millions along the way. Now, what industries have I been in those 15 years? Well, let me just name a few so you understand. I have done everything from credit repair, debt consolidation, alarm systems, auto warranties, mortgages, annuities, the timeshare exit industry. I've trained hundreds of people in the solar industry, the roofing industry. A lot of you might be like, Eric, the solar industry virtual? The roofing industry virtual? Yes. I think anything that can be done in person can be done over the phone better and at scale. So I'm going to show you 3 things in this video that if you implement, you become a monster. Why? I have 15 years of a track record of these 3 things that I'm going to show you. Now, I've also built multiple 7, 8, and 9-figure businesses all over the phones, virtually. Never knocking a door, driving for dollars, doing open houses, walking car lots, getting chased by dogs, literally a cell phone, laptop, or a headset. Dude, a lot of people in the very beginning were like, Eric, you're gonna be a telemarketer? You know how much money I have made with a headset on my head? Dude, this is the headset lifestyle, baby. And what I'm gonna do is show you how to make headsets sexy again. Would you rather have this on your head with music playing, AC, pictures of your family or your future house or the massive bank account that you're gonna build? Would you rather be out there knocking doors, getting chased by pit bulls, German shepherds, middle of the snow, chasing storms? What would you rather do? You tell me. Virtual or out there beating the pavement? Well, I have made millions with the headset lifestyle. And I'm gonna go over 3 things that if implemented, you can do the same. All right, so here's what we're gonna do. The first thing doing virtual sales is you have to immediately, when they pick up the phone, you have to immediately demand respect and authority and take control of the call. And this is whatever industry that you are in. I don't care if it's the real estate space, the solar space, the roofing, pest control, because mind you, all of these industries can be done virtually over the phones. So for instance, if I were calling a homeowner about a property, let's just keep it in the real estate game, right? And I was calling 123 Main Street. I want to immediately separate myself from the competition. I'm going to know I'm calling them out of the blue, so they weren't sitting around waiting for my phone call. And one thing that I don't think enough people put into consideration is you've interrupted their day. Right? You don't know what was happening on the other side of that phone before you called them. So when you initially call them and they answer, their skepticism is at an all-time high. It's our job, one, because you'll never be the first person to ever call them. They get hundreds of calls about and think about all the different industries that are out there. You have, again, let's just name a couple: solar, roofing, pest control, life insurance, car insurance. There's so many industries that are trying to get to consumers on a daily basis. So if I were calling a homeowner about a property to see if they wanted to sell it, again, not knowing what happened or what they were doing when I initiated the phone call, it would go something like this. And one thing to have is a bulletproof script, because if you're new to sales and you've never done this, a script is ultimately going to save your life. It's going to save your life. It's saved mine. in the beginning of my journey getting into virtual sales, I was full of anxiety, no experience, low self-esteem, had a hard time putting a sentence together to a complete stranger over a phone, but having a script that worked was a lifesaver for me. So if I'm gonna call a homeowner, this is what I would say. Hey John, this is Eric with ABC Home Buyers. How you doing today? I'm doing good. What's this about? I was calling about your property on 123 Main Street. We are potentially interested in acquiring a few more properties in the 12345 zip code. Do you have any intentions on possibly selling the house in the next 6 months or so? Yeah, if the price is right. Awesome. Well, listen, at the end of the day, John, I know it always comes down to money. But before we get into talking about money, I just want to see whether or not we are a good fit. I know you get a ton of calls. I'm not the first person that's ever called you about wanting to potentially buy your house. So with all the phone calls that you've gotten, John, let me just make this call a little bit different. Do me a favor, before I get in and start asking you questions about why you want to sell your house and who I am, I want to give you all my contact information. That way you have it there at your disposal. So my first name is, and then I'm going to say grab a pen and paper. Why? I called him out of the blue. I don't know what he was doing before I called him. I want to take control of the phone call. And by getting them engaged away from what they were doing, now I'm having them write my information down, first name, last name, telephone number. If you have a company, have them write it down, the company name, a website. But the reason I do this is I want to separate myself from the competition. I know at the end of this phone call, I am going to ask this person to sign a purchase agreement with me. I'm going to make an offer, and I'm expecting him to do business with me. I'm assuming the close from the minute I say hello. So why not get the first objection out of the way? And it's, you never want to ask someone for their business and they have to say, well, what's your name again? Who am I talking to? I'm going to get that out of the way in the very beginning, because here's the reason why. I know what my competition is not doing. They're not doing these steps. So in the very beginning, I want to take control. I want to lead the conversation. I want to immediately have credibility. All I'm doing by having them write my information down, I'm putting a name tag on their table or wherever they're at home. They can see me. It's like when you walk into any store. Let's say you were to go to Ford or Cadillac to buy a car. As soon as you walk on the lot, someone comes up to you, they have a name tag on. And a lot of times it says where they're from. It's credibility. So why not bring that into the virtual world? You are on the phone with somebody, expecting them to do business with you. You're going to ask for the order at the end, and you've never once taken the time or given them the common courtesy to write your information down so they know who they're doing business with, or they know how to get back in contact with you. And here's a little trick, and I'm not going to spend a ton of time on this, but it's so important. When you have them write your phone number down, not your name or your last name, not the name of your company if you have one, not your website, when you have them write the phone number down, simply ask them, hey John, can you repeat that really quick just so I know you have the number correct? What I want to do is I'm checking to see if he actually wrote any of the information down. It's easy to remember Eric Cline, right? He might mess it up. Some of us have more difficult last names than others, but for the most part, it's easy to remember somebody's name. It's easy to remember a company name. What it's not easy to do, because these smartphones have made us dumb, is we don't remember phone numbers. So I'm going to have them repeat my phone number back, and that's the only thing I have them repeat back. Because if I, in the very beginning, can get them to write all that down, they repeat my phone number, bam, I've taken control of this phone call. Now I'm leading the dance. I'm leading the conversation. And more importantly, they've shown a level of interest because they're doing what I'm asking them to do. So again, in the very, very beginning, you got to command authority, command respect, and you have to take control. And set expectations of what's going to happen on the call. Nobody wants their time wasted. So after you've commanded respect, authority, you've gotten them engaged, set the expectation of what's going to happen on the call. By the end of this call, John, one of two things are going to happen. I'm either going to have an approval with an offer and we buy your house because we can agree on a number and we're a good fit for one another, or unfortunately, it doesn't work for us and I'm going to tell you the exact reason why, but maybe I can point you in the direction of somebody that can help. And again, that goes with any industry. It could be solar. Hey, we were allocated to the area to see whether or not we can help you stabilize or save money on your electric bill. Or it could be the roofing company, because this all can be done virtually over the phones. Hey, my company was allocated to the 12345 zip code. Right now, what we are doing is we are giving free roofal inspections just to see if you have any current problems or potentially any future problems. By the time that we're done, all we want to be able to do is present you with a full report of what needs to be fixed or what potentially could need to be fixed in the future. The biggest thing, the second biggest thing, really they're all big. You miss one of these, you're going to miss a big paycheck. All right, so 2 is know your numbers or get smoked. Eric, what do you mean by that? It's KPIs, key performance indicators, right? It's one thing if you're out there knocking doors, you're probably skipping doors, not knocking every single door, right? Or driving for dollars. When you're doing this virtually over the phone, you want to make sure you are watching your KPIs, because a lot of you think you're working a lot harder than you are. Now, it all comes down to the production, okay? So the biggest thing that you want to watch in the virtual world is, 1, how many dials are you making every single day? Dials, okay? And then how much talk time are you getting in those dials you're making? And then 3, how many offers are you making or presentations where they have the chance to buy? In my world, right now, the real estate acquisitions world, I'm going to give you the 3 KPIs that I live and die by. It's how I was able to build in 12 months, literally a multi-million-dollar real estate acquisitions company, 100% virtually over the phones. The KPIs, right? 3 key performance indicators are going to be dials. It would be a minimum of 60 outbound dials a day. Now, an outbound dial is where you would dial a phone number, you would let it ring a minimum of 3 times. So a dial isn't dialing a number and letting it ring once and hang up. You didn't even give them a chance to answer the phone. So you gotta meet a standard. So we set a standard, I set a standard, where when you make a dial, it's 3 rings. After that, it's considered a dial. You need to do a minimum of 60 of those. Now, it's okay to do more than the minimum. Don't be afraid to make 100 dials. So for somebody that's got really good sales acumen, they're gonna be able to get less dials and convert leads better. Somebody that's just getting started out, you're gonna have to beat the phones like a savage until your skill set matches your production, right? The work that you're doing every single day. You gotta understand where you're at in your journey. So someone like me, I can go in and probably produce something out of 30 leads where it might take someone else 100 leads, okay? So that's gonna be your dials. Then you have your talk time. Talk time is, you're not gonna get deals unless you have a headset on your head all day long and you are having quality conversations with whatever or whomever you're trying to sell or buy something from, okay? So it all comes down to quality talk time. You can make the dials, but if you're not having conversations with somebody, what's the point of making the dials? All right, so you want to get a minimum. Now these are minimum numbers, minimum 3.5 hours of talk time. 3.5 hours, and you can log this. If you don't have a CRM and you don't have all the fancy phone systems, make sure you're logging every dial you make sure you're logging all your talk time. So minimum 60 dials, minimum 3.5 hours of talk time, and then you want to do a minimum of 4 offers a day. 4, okay? Because you're never gonna get a deal on something you did not make an offer on. So you either know your numbers, you are tracking them daily, you're meeting the minimum, the non-negotiable, the bare minimum, or you get smoked. That's what happens. Your KPIs dictate how big your paycheck is. That's what it boils down to. Small KPIs, small paychecks. Big KPIs, big paychecks. But if you're not tracking them, you'll never know what the check is gonna look like. People don't do what you expect, they do what you inspect. So inspecting your KPIs is something you wanna do on a daily basis. Sometimes hourly basis, right? That way you know how your day's going. So that's gonna be the second biggest thing that you absolutely must do in the virtual world. Okay, now we're gonna roll into the third biggest thing. I would say it's the most important, but they're all so important. So the third is create an environment for success. Just because you're working remote does not mean you're working sloppy. This is a sport, okay? So you want to create an environment because it's you versus you every single day. You don't have the camaraderie of a group or a team or it's you. So why not create the environment where when you walk into it, you immediately want to crush the day? What do I mean by that? Have a stand-up desk. Have a wireless headset. That way you can be up moving around. Your blood can be flowing. Don't be sitting on the couch with Netflix playing, watching TV, not paying attention to what you're doing. Your environment ultimately will dictate the outcome of your results. Trust me when I say this. Have a whiteboard with your goals on it, your KPIs, your why. Why do you get up and do this every single day? Is it for your family? Is it because your bank account's almost at zero or overdrafted? Have a picture of your bank account up there. Have a goal of why you get up, why you come in, why you put the headset on, why are you willing to bang the phones all day long. You have to keep the why front and center, okay? So make sure whatever your work environment looks like, it's something that's gonna motivate you, inspire you, and keep you moving. Stand-up desk, have weights, have bands, keep your blood flowing, because this is what I know to be true with absolute facts. I've ran massive teams, all virtually, is when you come in at the beginning of the day, let's say you start the day at 9 o'clock, by noon, a different person is sitting in that seat. Whether your day went really good or really bad, by noon, you're a different person, right? You could have had some great conversations and you're on a high. You could have had some really bad conversations, your mood's low, your attitude's bad. So you need to be able to check that constantly throughout the day. In your environment, think about it. If I had a picture of my wife, my kids at all times hanging up, how could that not motivate me that I'm not gonna let them down no matter how that phone call went, right? So your environment is going to ultimately breed the results that you're getting. Think about your competition. More than likely, they're sitting in a dark room, feet up on the couch, TV playing. You don't think the person on the other end of that line understands they're dealing with an unmotivated person? If you're trying to sell somebody something, you want the person on the other end of the line to feel the energy that you have, the emotions, the power through the phone, the tonality in your voice. They need to feel all of that to get them to move. Because listen, there's a ton of competition out there. They're weak. They're not willing to do what you and I are willing to do. So remember, create an environment that when you walk in, you feel absolutely on fire to crush the day, beat the competition, and not give up no matter what. All right, now I want to give you the bonus tip. Eric, what do you got for us? It's gonna be tonality. Tonality. When you are doing face-to-face sales, you can show up to someone's house, you can look clean cut, nicely dressed, hair done, groomed perfect, nice cologne on. You lose all that over the telephone. All of that, gone. What do you have? You have your voice, your energy, and your tonality. Think about it for a second. None of you would still be here on this video right now if I was just sitting back, talking like this, no energy whatsoever, trying to explain how you're gonna make millions of dollars over the phone, right? You wouldn't stick around for that. And there's a time and place to raise your energy. There's a time and place to lower your tonality. When someone brings up maybe an illness in a family or a death in the family, I'm sorry to hear that. I've personally went through something very similar to this, Mr. Jones. Now, I don't know your exact situation. I'm sure it's hard. Or if they're talking about maybe somebody just graduated high school. That's awesome. I remember when my daughter graduated and went off to college. It must have been one of the best feelings you could have ever possibly have had. Watching your kid walk the stage, right? There's a time and place. Your tonality is everything. It's gonna get them to feel a certain way. If you were to go through an entire call with the same monotone voice, I promise you, you are missing the boat. You are missing deals that others will 100% capture. Because a lot of times, people buy or sell off of emotions. And whether you believe this or not, your tonality, the way it comes out, means everything. I mean, listen, at the end of the day, I could sit here and say, and I'm gonna wrap it up with this. How you deliver something is everything. Your tonality with the way you deliver it is everything. So I'm gonna use an example. And I'm not talking to you, I'm talking to the camera. But for instance, if I walked up to my buddy Tony and I was like, dude, Tony, you're a dick. And I walked away, he would be like, what did I just do to Eric? Or if I walked up to Tony and I was like, hey, Toad, you're a dick, dude, with a smile on my face. I said the same thing. But the way I said it with a smile, a little giggle in it, it meant something completely different. So the way you deliver the message is going to be absolutely crucial. And the tonality that you use with it is everything. Tonality. Do not mess this up. And for a lot of you, it's going to take practice. It's not something that's going to come natural. You have to work on this. Practice makes perfect. Repetition is king. The more reps, the better you will get. All right, so now that you got the three biggest things, and again, none of them mean anything if you do not implement them, but when you get into virtual sales, you don't need a fancy office. You don't need a massive marketing budget. What you need is you need to create an environment that breeds success. You need to track your KPIs, and you need to understand how to take control of these phone calls. There's zero reason in the virtual world, because that's the world I've been living in for the last 15 years. I've been able to put an absolute financial fence around me and my family. We have been able to build generational wealth, and it's been a fun ride. I don't want to be out there exposed in the heat in the middle of the summer, middle of the winters, jumping from one industry to another. I want to be, whether I'm at home or at a cool office, listening to music, having a good time. I come in with cut-off shirts, shorts. If you're not making a minimum of $20,000 to $50,000 a month, you might be in the wrong vehicle. And what do I mean by wrong vehicle? No, not the car that you drive, the industry that you're in. The real estate industry is the one industry that's never going away. It's the one industry, no matter what happens, somebody's always going to need a roof over their head. Am I wrong on that? Am I wrong? Answer it. Whether the economy's good or bad, we all need a home. The industry is here to stay, and it's here to stay forever. So you don't need a license. You don't need a massive marketing budget. You don't need any of that. What you need is those three things that I was talking about in the grit and the hunger to want more out of life. So if that's you, you have the ability to possibly partner up with me. What I want you to do, if you're even remotely interested, and listen, no pressure, some people don't want a bigger life. But if you are, what I want you to do is comment below, partner, and I'll reach out to you. Let's see if we're a good fit. Maybe I'll just tell you a little bit about the industry. In your head, you might be like, Eric, what do you mean real estate industry? I don't know anything about real estate. That's okay. I didn't either when I got into the industry. But now millions and millions and millions of dollars later, hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of deals later, 100% virtually, I can show you how. So comment below, partner. If you got value out of this video, what I want you to do is pass it to somebody that you think could get benefit from these. Listen, I do this for you, right? I've already gotten to a point in my life where as long as I don't pick up the drugs or alcohol, I'm gonna be financially okay. But now I wanna help as many of you come along with me. They say it gets lonely at the top. That's bullshit. Not if you bring enough people with you. So, appreciate you. Until we do the next video, pick up the phone, start dialing. I'll see you on the next one. Hey, what's going on? I want to congratulate you for making it to the end. What does that mean? You're in the 1% club. No one else stuck around. You did. What I want you to do is subscribe. More importantly, comment below. That way I know exactly who you are and we can get to know one another. Every single week, by you turning your notifications on, you're not gonna miss the sales training that's gonna keep you in this 1% club. Comment below, subscribe. I'm gonna see you in the next video. Let's continue to refuse to lose.